Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for today's webinar hosted by SYSTRAN. So today the speakers will be Gaëlle Bou, Head of Sales and Marketing at SYSTRAN, and Stéphanie LABROUE, who is Presales Consultant at SYSTRAN. You are all on mute today because this webinar is being recorded. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them via the chat panel, and we will have a session at the end. So I'm leaving the floor to Gaëlle, and she can introduce today's subject.
Hi everyone, thank you for attending our webinar. So yes, my name is Gaëlle Bou, and as Alice said, I'm in charge of sales and marketing at SYSTRAN. I'm very pleased to welcome you today. And so my goal is, as an introduction, I will just share with you our vision of current challenges in our market. And after that, Stéphanie, our technical consultant, will present to you our flagship product, which is SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server. And you will see all the features and applications of this great product with a live demo, because it's important to see in real situation how it works. And then, of course, we let you ask your questions, so you can ask them now on the panel, and we will be, of course, pleased to answer them at the end. So today we are facing an increasingly demanding professional market where communication must be instantaneous, accurate, and available in each language of local markets. It is no longer only the historical defense and security community or the banking sector that are demanding for efficient translation tools, but all industries, as digital and internationalization are very mature and integrated into enterprise. So professionals want real time, but with the quality and accuracy required by professional communication to translate one sentence as a 100-page document. So this is with the constant constraint of controlling localization costs and other growing ones that are transparency on the origin of the data, respect of data privacy, and IT security. It is the whole organization that is concerned, and not only the internal or external translation service. The challenge is to spread this multilingual flow to all levels of the company, whether it be to better communicate in-house, to offer a multilingual customer service, to search for crucial multi-source information, to translate documents and web pages that are the showcase of the company. At SYSTRAN, we realized quite quickly that the new challenge of our industry was not yet another technological revolution, but our ability to put in the hands of the greatest number of people this technology, with the human expertise at the heart of the expected quality. Generic translation is not good enough to meet professional expectations. For this reason, just a year ago, we launched a marketplace to offer the widest range of specialized translation models trained by a community of qualified experts around the world. It is therefore a community that we have built with SYSTRAN Marketplace, with the aim of bringing together on one platform the best of each expertise: technology, data, human expertise, and infrastructure to support a large-scale deployment while respecting security, personal data, and transparency fundamentals. We aim to offer an alternative to GAFA's platform with a responsible and expert approach. For those who do not know us yet, SYSTRAN is a part of the history of machine translation. It has even helped to write the history, really, of this technology by bringing major innovation at every stage of its evolution. Today, SYSTRAN is a key player that has one of the largest catalogs of languages on the market, including rare languages, and offers a unique flexibility of deployment on-premise, private cloud, public cloud to serve all professional needs. And so this product range that you see on this slide is really a strength. Based on the same technology and know-how, it allows to adapt to all needs from all sizes of companies or public organizations. Specialized models trained by the community of experts using SYSTRAN technology are available in both licensed and volume-based models. We chose today to introduce you to the latest developments in our flagship products used by the world's largest companies, public organizations, and governments, SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server. So I will now let Stéphanie, our technical consultant, reveal the richness of this unique product. So Stéphanie, I will give you the hand to share your screen.
Yeah, thank you, Gaëlle. Thank you, Gaëlle, for this introduction. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for joining today's webinar. I will now present my screen, and we'll start with a few slides. We'll start with a few slides, and after the slides, a live demo of the product will follow. So I'm now going to walk you through our core product, the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution. The solution makes access to secured and accurate translations quick and easy. The translation server itself can either be hosted by SYSTRAN and its hosting partners, or installed on premises to ensure full security of the translated data. In this secured environment, users can access a series of translation functionalities via a simple web browser, such as the text translation, to translate text and visualize translation alternatives. Translation alternatives are the translations obtained in the system, but with different linguistic configurations, such as different terminologies being applied, or using a customer-specific translation engine, which has been tailored to a specific customer or use case, for examples. We see here in our example the translation obtained with a model produced by our marketplace partner, Because Italy, which proves the more accurate to translate these technical contents. There's also a file translation functionality accessible to translate documents, keeping the layout, including PDF files and images. We also have a speech component to translate voice files using a text-to-speech component provided by a SYSTRAN partner, and which is embedded in the tool. There is also a web translation functionality to translate web pages via the server's web interface, we see here, or via a simple browser plugin, which we will show you during the demo. The latest version of our server solution provides best-of-breed technology and allows to translate any PDF file with optimized results, whether they are searchable, so editable, or scanned, non-editable PDFs. Editable PDFs will automatically be extracted by our new precise PDF filter, which yields the best possible results in terms of both layout, but also translation quality. When the PDF is not editable, on the other hand, the system will perform automatically OCR, so optical character recognition, on the PDF document, and will extract the text using either the Iris default OCR component or an optional ABI Fine Reader component. A new mode has been added on top of this workflow, which is the fast PDF, mode. This feature allows to translate a PDF file faster by retrieving plain text without taking care of images or any formatting style. This fast PDF feature is suited for some use cases where speed of translation and information retrieval is more important than the formatting style of the translated document. SYSTRAN also provides integrated plugins which allow to translate directly from the Microsoft applications. The SYSTRAN plugin called the translation from the secured translation server, of course, via API. These plugins allow to translate documents. Allow to translate documents, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. They also allow to translate emails. There is a plugin for Outlook, or even instant communications in Skype to speed up and ease, obviously, multilingual communication across the company. The Quick File Translator client application integrated into the Windows Explorer does even allow to translate large batches of files in multiple subdirectories and multiple formats with the simple right click. The SYSTRAN client applications also allow to translate literally any text selection from any application. So it can be a document or an application such as Salesforce or a CRM tool, etc. Simply by hitting Control-Shift-T. Hitting Control-Shift-T will launch automatically the SYSTRAN Interactive Translator and will launch the translation of the selected text. Emails and their attachments can also be translated without leaving your emailing system. Simply send the email to translate to the email address pre-configured in the system to send this email to SYSTRAN and receive the translated email and the attachments back right in your inbox, provided, of course, that the attachments are in the supported formats. For further translation needs, the available API integrations allow to bring the translation literally where it needs to be. Thanks to the API, the SYSTRAN translation also becomes available in professional translators' computer edit translation tools, also named CAT tools, or CRM systems, product information management systems, and any other third-party application, provided that there are API entry points available in the system. So accessing secured and accurate translations has never been easier for end users. But with our latest release, we wanted also to make the lives of administrators easy and have introduced many improvements in this regard. The SYSTRAN architecture is built upon microservices communicating between themselves via API, which makes the whole system highly scalable. In fact, the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution is the same product. It's at the core of the SYSTRAN Translate service, which serves daily thousands of users and over 1 million translation requests per day worldwide. While it's very powerful, the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution is yet very simple to administrate. As an example, thanks to recent developments, installing a new language pair and making it available to users only takes a few seconds and a few clicks. Users and groups management was also improved and now offers a lot of possibilities to allow distinct divisions or departments within a large organization to manage their users and associated permissions completely independently. Also, users and system statistics can be managed via API to ease the administration tasks. In terms of security, the solution now offers a lot of options to authenticate users and secure the access to the solution. And of course, we continuously add security improvements in the product and manage component updates in the system. SYSTRAN is the leader on the machine translation market and contributes to the major developments in terms of especially neural machine translation speed optimization. That's really one of the strengths of the product. As an example, SYSTRAN's optimized OpenNMT engine won several competitions, namely the WNMT 2018 competition and WNGT 2020 competition, reaching unparalleled throughput on a single core CPU. SYSTRAN uses this OpenNMT framework, optimized framework, and of course, unique proprietary bricks to provide an optimized speed to the users of the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution. As an example, we have recently introduced a new cache mechanism, which optimizes speed further. And we now also offer GPU support for customers who need to translate huge volumes in very short time. Another strength of the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server lays in its ability to integrate customer-specific terminology. Recent developments allowed to seamlessly integrate the terminology with neural networks. As a result, a term added into the SYSTRAN system in the user dictionary by authorized users gets used immediately in the translation output. So it gets applied in real time. The system is even able to generate the plural form for nouns, as an example, and adjectives, of course, and to generate the conjugated forms for verbs. Of course, in the sentence, once we're translating using the user dictionary, determiners and surrounding adjectives would also adjust automatically to agree with the new gender of the term, as an example, so that the user-specific terminology gets applied quite transparently for the end user. To go even further in terms of quality optimization, SYSTRAN also allows to customize an engine to a customer or a use case using customer-specific data. So translation memories, basically. This specialization process allows to reach levels of quality which allow to increase productivity and the usability of the NMT output for a whole company. Very interesting news. We recently published a scientific paper available on our blog to share our latest developments to allow the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server system to learn in real time from the translations produced by humans. These human translations stored in the translation memories are used to customize the machine translation output interactively in real time. The impact on the quality is close to the impact of an engine specialization we've just described. This opens new fields to optimize the quality without the need to retrain an engine. Of course, there's time and efficiency gain in this process. So we can now enhance the quality on new domains. And now is the time for our product demo. So we will demonstrate a few functionalities of the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution. We'll start with the file translation functionality, and we'll start by translating a few files that I have on my machine, a few samples here. They are all in English, and I want to translate them all into Spanish. So I've already selected the languages here. The source can be auto-detected. The target needs to be specified by the user. And when I click upload, I can either browse to the files or drag and drop them. It could even be a zip archive containing all the files. And I'm going to select them all and drag and drop them here. So for the PDF document, there are several choices available. I know that it's editable, so one of the options is to use our latest precise PDF component. And the translation is now launched for all the documents. We'll refresh the view to see which file gets translated first. They're processing, so there's a filtering step which takes care of converting the source format into a translatable, and the first file is now translated into a translated format, which is XLIF. So we can now see the result of the translation process on this PDF file, and we're opening the translated brochure in Word. Images and PDFs are rendered in docx format. So here is the translated file. Any images, layout, style, tables are preserved in the translation. We see that it's the result of the translation. The result gets the name of the file when it opens in Word. There's a prefix with result underscore. So that's our translated file. Looks nice. And another thing I wanted to show you here under this file translation functionality is also the ability for the documents not only to download them, but also to edit them, meaning if you have to make the translation fully perfect to publish them or communicate them internally to someone expecting a certain level of quality, instead of downloading the file and reworking it in Word or the third party, so the Microsoft application, you can edit it in the SYSTRAN application. This will first allow you to retrieve any fuzzy matches from a translation memory. So if there were closed sentences already translated by someone within the organization, you will benefit from these existing translations, which are close to the content you're translating, but not exactly the same. As an example here on the third sentence we have here, we see that there is a fuzzy match available. A fuzzy match is a partial correspondence from the translation memory. And this is visible here at the bottom in the fuzzy match tab. And I will here see by clicking on the eye icon what is the difference between what is already in the translation memory and what I'm translating. So basically it's just a casing change. So I'm perfectly happy with the already existing validated translation, and I can apply it in my translation. Now other statuses are available here. We see that the second segment in the translation is what we call a TM match. So it's already a sentence which was translated by someone within the organization and validated. So I don't need to spend time reviewing this. I need to focus on the machine translated segments. I can filter on these machine translated sentences, and I can focus on these. Once I have made changes to a sentence, such as here on this first segment in my file, once I'm happy with the edits I've made, I can validate the segment, and this will change the status of the segment here. And these segments can now be added to a translation memory. So I can add these to the translation memory available for other users than to reuse the edits I've made. So it's very important and interesting to use this tool when we want to capitalize on changes made by authorized users on the translation memory so that they can be reused within the company. Okay, so for the file translation, that's basically the main feature. Let's switch to the text translation functionality. And let's take a small extract from this web page. It's an extract from some collaboration between Capgemini and the European Space Agency. So I'll select the text here, which is in French. I can switch the languages from French to English, and I'm going to choose a purely generic engine to translate, or we call it translation profile. Let's translate with this generic translation profile and see the output. It's okay, but as a specialist, I know that there are certain terms which need to be translated differently. Namely, la biomasse aérienne was translated by aerial biomass, but I know that it should be translated differently, and I have already entered a user dictionary entry. That's how a user dictionary looks like in SYSTRAN. So different columns, very simple to use, source column, target column, and here the grammatical category of the term. So I know that I want to translate biomasse aérienne with above ground biomass. That's the correct translation. Here, the system already knows how to inflect this term, both in the source and in the target, so in English. It should be plural just by adding an S at the last word in the term. So this was my generic translation, and if I now apply the dictionary we just seen, we'll see that it changes the output, and the terms that come from the dictionary, from the user dictionary, are now in blue. And if I were to make this term plural, which requires more edits in French than in English, it adjusts. It was made plural here by the system. So that's basically how user dictionary works and interacts with the translation. You just need to create a user dictionary or add new terms in an existing one and apply a translation profile which applies the dictionary. Now, another feature I wanted, or interesting information I wanted to show you in the file, in the text translation functionality, is our new formal versus informal mode. We have trained our engines to produce either a formal or an informal output. As an example, if we translate from English into French using, let's start with the formal mode of address. So we need to use a profile, a translation profile with the formal option. If I'm translating a sentence which can be translated into a formal way in French, which is comment allez-vous? It's the polite way. If I switch to the informal mode, it adjusts and says comment vas-tu? Which is the usual way of addressing a colleague or someone you know in French. So the formal informal is something new we've introduced, and many of our customers were very happy to see this implemented to translate certain types of contents directed at certain audiences. We have also a very interesting new feature it's more for linguists. It's the ability to indicate the gender of a term in the user dictionary, which is quite unique. And there are other advanced coding clues we can indicate in the user dictionary to make the dictionary a little bit more rich. As an example, from English into French, we have, you know, it's very much linked to the times we are living in. So the COVID, it's a disease. So first in French we used le Covid, which is a masculine term. But as it's a disease, the French Academy said, or there was a recommendation to use the feminine for COVID. But obviously everyone was saying le COVID, so masculine at the beginning, and we have trained our engines or any corpora would contain the masculine form. If we need to change this, it can be tricky with many systems, but with the SYSTRAN system, you just need in the user dictionary to add a clue, an advanced coding clue. Here it can be feminine, but it can be singular, plural. There are other advanced coding clues we can integrate. So I just need to tell the system that it should be feminine. And if I now switch to my profile, you see that it changed le into la, which is now correct, grammatically speaking in French, la COVID. This can be tricky to adjust with other systems. And the ability to take some advanced coding clues really is linked to the long history of SYSTRAN, also in rule-based in initial times, where we have compiled a lot of linguistic information in the system. Okay, so the text translation functionality and file translation functionalities are the widely used functionalities by our customers, but we also have, sorry, as said, some plugins, some extensions. So I'm first going to show you the browser extension on this same French page, or no, yeah, let's take this, or let's take a Chinese content instead. Maybe it's something that many users encounter in their work when they're doing research. They are on a foreign article and they really don't know what it's talking about. So if you need to have a gist of the contents of this page, you can use the SYSTRAN extension and select the languages you want to translate, the translation profile, and translate the page. And we'll soon discover what this article is about. It's starting to be translated. You see the status here, so the first lines, and we see that the article here is already translated, and it will translate the links on the right. It's now done. So we know now that it's something very specific about the black holes in the universe and some literary inspiration. So the extension is one way to translate web pages. Other plugins or translation functionalities which are available directly from the translation, from the applications you're working into. The client applications in Word as an example. So I have a document here. Here there are several functionalities. I can either use the SYSTRAN interactive translator by clicking Ctrl-Shift-T, and this launches automatically the translation. Indeed, there is a shortcut defined here in my SYSTRAN options, and the Ctrl-Shift-T is the option we've defined, or the shortcut we've defined to translate any text selection. It can be Word, but it can be in any application, which is very handy. Even web pages or intranet pages can be translated this way. Another way to use the plugins is to translate the whole document or just a selection. And we'll see that on this PowerPoint file here. So let's translate from English into French, the whole PowerPoint document with its layout. It's getting translated, it's finished already. So we now see the translated slides in French. And the ability to retrieve the layout is an interesting feature. Last, during the slides, I said that there was also the possibility to translate large batches of files in the Windows Explorer by right-clicking on a folder. So here, the files to translate are all in English. I want to translate them all into French. So right-clicking on SYSTRAN Translate, we launch the quick file translator. I can select the profile I want to use. If I want to use a specific translation profile, I can include subfolders. I can filter on file formats if I want to translate only the documents in docx format in the hierarchy as an example, or I can just leave the defaults like this and launch the translation. And we'll see the status for each file. We see it's translated now for 2 files, and there's only 1 remaining. Okay, and it took us about a little bit more than 4 seconds to translate the whole batch. And what the system did is to create a copy of the folder, and the translated files are now in there. So we can now see the translated files. So these are the main translation functionalities of the SYSTRAN product. There are other translation functionalities available, of course, via API to integrate with any CAT tool or third applications for which we do have a set of already existing connectors. If you are interested in seeing what the solution can provide for your use case, we can, of course, provide you a customized demo based on a description of the use case and your needs, challenges you're facing regarding the translation. I hope the demo and the information was instructive for you. I think we can now continue with the questions and answers. I'm going to open the mic for any questions you might have.
So for the question, some of you have already asked in the chat panel, but please don't hesitate if you have more to ask them now. I'm going to check first couple of ones. Okay, I have a first one is, what is the difference between user dictionary and translation memory?
Okay, yeah, interesting question. The translation memory is a linguistic resource which translates or which contains full sentences. So the translation memory is made to store existing translations on full sentences based. The user dictionary, on the other side, is used to customize the terminology. So it's just terms which can be in the middle of the sentence in any new context. So it's just for terms. Translation memories is for sentences, full sentences. So if you have recurring sentences such as your slogan, the slogan of the company, or very recurring sentences that you find all the time in your documents, it's always good to have them in the translation memory with their validated translation. So that each user who encounters these recurring sentences gets the official translation using the translation memory. On the other side, the user dictionaries, these are more to customize on a more fine-grained level the output, whether the sentences were already translated or not. It's on the word or a term base. Hope this answers the question.
Okay, so we have another question. Would be, okay, I'm filtering. So there is a question, obviously, about the cost, but I think we will not answer it today. Maybe it would be more like a one-on-one discussion. I have another one. So what are the available language for formal, informal translation? Are there any specific language that you could do that with, or is it available for all languages?
Sorry, Alice, if the question is for me, I didn't hear very well.
No,
So
I was mute.
Ah, okay, sorry.
I was answering, but I was on mute, sorry. No, it's for me, Gaëlle. Sorry for that. So yeah, we already have quite a number of languages for which we have the formal versus informal mode available. We did this on a customer request basis. So we started with languages the customer was interested into. And we have now, but it's not the full list, but just to name but a few, the French, the German, the Italian, the Spanish, and others. I think we have about 6, 7 languages already available, but we're working on making this available on, well, the most common language pairs for which there is a formal versus informal mode. Way of address.
And perhaps Alice,
also into how are you handling the importing translation memories from an agency to create user dictionary? How does it work, and is there a possibility to improve the translation memory over time?
Yes, sure. So when customers have the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution to serve their internal needs to translate quickly, produce documentation with this machine translation functionality, but on the other side, they have translation agencies working on other content types. It's of course possible to integrate the translation memories from the agencies in the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution, so as to allow the end users to benefit from the translation memories populated by the translation agencies. In fact, we accept many formats as input to import the translation memory in the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution. The most commonly accepted and used format is TMX, so any translation memory in TMX format can be imported in the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server. And you can continue adding new segments, so new sentences in this translation memory on your side in the SYSTRAN solution via the online file editor we've seen, the online post editor, where you can review the file and add new segments to the translation memory, so you can continue populating it. It can be the space where you centralize the translation memories and make them available to all the users within the company. On the other side, in the other direction, CAT tools can use the MT from the SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server solution. So your translation agencies can, in return, benefit from the machine translation that you have available in your system and use it during their translation, so as to reduce the effort, reduce the time, so timelines, make the go-to-market quicker, and also reduce costs, obviously.
I think Gaëlle can give more specification about the cost of
because yes, thank
machine
you,
translation
Alice.
project.
Yes, so of course we can't answer very precisely on this question, but I can provide some indicators. So when we price a solution like SYSTRAN Pure Neural Server, there is different criteria to do so. So the first thing is we have annual or perpetual license. And we define the price depending on the number of users, of course, you have, the number of languages, the volume you allow. It is not volume-based pricing, so it's very interesting when you have quite consequent volume and you won't be priced by volume, but depending on the throughput you want to achieve and other things, we also will define with you the right architecture to have the good performance in front of your use case. So all these things will be taken into account to price the solution. So we do that with your account manager, so give you the best price linked to your usage. And then if you have very few volume, we have now a cloud solution, which is very useful when you have a little, really few volume and you want to have a volume-based pricing. So now it's also possible, but very interesting when you don't have many translation to do. So I think it's not a very detailed answer, but it gives some inputs.
Okay. We are running out of sorry about that. Let's take a couple of last questions. So I think one that has come is it possible to train an MT engine with your own data?
Yeah, definitely yes. It's possible to train an NMT engine using customer-specific data. The specialization process allows to do this. So SYSTRAN can do it as a professional service. And if you are using the Model Studio product, which is a different product from the product we've just demoed during the webinar. So the Model Studio tool on the other side allows to create engines based on customer-specific data, so translation memories. This is the tool used to train the engines. So yes, provided that you have enough aligned material, so enough aligned sentences, you can indeed train an engine using the Model Studio tool.
We have quite a lot of questions, so sorry if we don't answer yours. We will come back to you individually because you are quite talkative in terms of question, and that's very good. So let's take one last one before we close the webinar. Let's check. Is there a learning when the user is correcting the MT input on the first sentence that is coming? Will that be reflecting in the future translations?
Yes, since the neural fuzzy adaptation functionality was implemented, so that's one of the latest news and latest developments on our side. Yes, the system is now able to learn from the translation memories that are in the SYSTRAN system and adjust the translation based on the translation memories. And this is something that happens interactively. So any additions to the translation memory can be used by the system to produce adapted translations. This is available via API, and the main goal for this introduction was to allow this neural fuzzy adaptation system or mechanism to be available from CAT tools, so the professional computer aided translation tools. And from a CAT tool, as you're producing new translations all the time, there it's very interesting and important to have a system which is able to retrieve the information and produce an adapted translation.
Okay, so thanks everyone for participating. The question who didn't receive an answer yet, we will come back to you. We have all the questions monitored, so we will give you an answer on that. And I would like to thank you all for participating today, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye, everyone.